Judas' Kiss, written by James Fuller. You can find this short story and more in his book Broken Shards of a Masterpiece, short story anthology. The slowly melting ice clinked softly in the low-rimmed glass as it was lifted to a pair of thin, ashen lips. The dark, golden liquid within lessened significantly with the long, exaggerated swallow that followed. He grunted faintly as the potent liquid burned all the way down to his core, settling in his midsection, warming him from within, though he was anything but cold. He returned the glass to its condensation rim upon the polished wood table and retrieved the slow-burning cigarette from the residue-crusted ashtray. The light moisture from the whiskey glass on his fingertips soaked into the cigarette's paper. Normally, this would have irritated him, but now he hardly noticed. He drew in deeply, the copper glowing ember intensifying brightly as he inhaled the toxic yet savory smoke. He held the smoke for only a moment before releasing it in two bellowing streams from his flaring nostrils. She had always disapproved of his drinking and had detested it when he smoked, but they were both things he had been too weak to refrain from for long. He had tried for her to give both up on several occasions, but could not. He used to tell her he was too set in his ways. She used to say to him it was because he did not really want to quit. He took another long, hard drag of his cigarette, almost feeling guilty for the satisfaction he received. He wondered if he had just tried harder, had he only been stronger. If he had been able to renounce his habits, maybe she would still be here with him. Perhaps he would not be sitting here alone now. He tried to take another drag of his cigarette, but his hand now trembled horribly at the flooding guilt, making it near impossible for him to place the cigarette to his lips. The jarring movement caused the long stem of ash to fall from the cigarette's tip to the paling gray linoleum, where it nearly was camouflaged with its surroundings. Had the errors been his all along? Had a positive outcome been in his grasp the entire time? Several luminous tears cascaded down his unshaven cheeks, combating their way through the thick jungle of stubble falling from his firm jawline, consumed by his dusty jeans. He gave up on his cigarette and reclaimed his emotionally compelling drink from the table. The ice clattered rhythmically with his palpating hand. He forced the smooth rim of the glass to his lips and finished its contents in an urgent swallow, only to refill it from the once full bottle that resided on the table and drink profoundly of his courage again. His hands were still as death now, as was his conscience. He may have been in the wrong at the onset, but the conclusion, the overwhelming guilt, the fanatical pain, the unanswerable turmoil should have rested upon her, not him. No, not him. He stared down at the violent mess upon the floor, his resolve almost breaking again. But a swift and aggressive drag of his fading cigarette solidified his intentions. He had come to confront her, to equalize the transgression between them. The sound of a melting ice cube, slipping from its resting place to strike its lucid prison, reminded him of his incessant thirst. He drank deeply, but his aim was off when he replaced the glass, missing the damp target it left behind. She had not wanted to listen, had yelled, thrown hard-earned possessions, struck him, even tried to leave. It had not gone as he had prayed for, but as he knew it would. He had been prepared. A stinging sensation drifted his eyes from the disappointment sprawled across the linoleum to his fingers, holding the smoldering filter of his cigarette as it cruelly reminded him of its presence. He dropped it onto the floor, instincts almost insisting that he recover and discard it appropriately, but he ignored the impulse. His inebriated state made him forget about his fingers almost instantly. He glanced up at the miniature grandfather clock that clung to the wall. It would not be much longer. He tipped the remaining amber liquor into his glass, spilling nearly as much as landed in the glass. He laid the empty bottle down across the table in defeat. The personal metaphor was not lost on him, even in his growing intoxicated condition. The sound of the aged screen door being opened pulled him from his drifting scrutinizers, and his focus sharpened. The heavy-set door opened wide. Fresh night air flooded through the room, lessening the putrid, sour smell that consumed the house. The floral patterned linen curtains wavered as the door was closed, and the air current shifted almost unnaturally throughout the house. Uncanny energy rippled through the deathly still house at the presence of someone new. A loud gasp echoed off the walls as the figure noticed the motionless form sprawled across the floor. With fearful yet urgent swiftness, the bulky figure cleared the distance to the lifeless body, lurching ineptly on the crimson pool that had overtaken most of the once clean gray floor. He watched the man fragilely embrace her flaccid head in his lap, his hands maladroitly touching her cold flesh in disconcerted nihilism. The unresounding sound and flicker of a lighter pulled the man from his disorderly sobbing and audible contemplations. Their eyes locked intensely. Bitter reality bode its forlorn presence vividly now. A momentarily deafening concussion rattled the windows, leaving the house in an eerie, tranquil state once more. He took a long, slow drag from his freshly lit cigarette, enjoying the flavor and sensation more than he ever had before. He flicked the remaining smoke carelessly at the two scarlet-stained lovers and finished his drink in a single swallow before dropping the glass with equal negligence. A final concussion rippled through the house. Thank you so much for listening to my reading of the short story Judas' Kiss, written by James Fuller. You can find this short story and more in his book Broken Shards of a Masterpiece, short story anthology. You can find the link to it in the description and the comments. I plan on reading more stories from this book. It's a lot of good ones in here, but definitely check out the link and purchase it yourself. I'll have a read along. Would that be weird? It might be weird. Yes. If you enjoyed my narration, please leave me a like. If you are new to the channel, there's only 3 subscribers right now, so you might be new to this channel. Yeah, hit subscribe. I plan on posting more author interviews, writing tips, and writing prompts. Yeah, I think those are fun. So get active. Participate. Don't be shy. Say hi. You can find me on Twitter at YT_lift. Yeah, if you want me to read something you've written, I can do that too. All right, you guys. I'll check you out later. Take care.